You've seen a few white Chevy 2500s come through the workshop, but this 25 model right here has got all the practical options included, and that even comes down to underneath the bonnet itself. I'm Dean Bleesner, the co-founder of Big Dog Builds, with well over 650 trucks through the workshop in a short 3.5 years. We're the most awarded American truck company in Australia for a reason. This Chevy 2500, the customer trusted us to get the build onto the road for himself to travel around Australia, make memories in retirement, and this is exactly the vehicle for him. We'll walk through the vehicle itself, the under-bonnet, go through the wheels, the tyres, the suspension, and exactly why this customer chose the 2500 platform for the touring rig, including the canopy on the rear end and what's still to come. And speaking of around Australia, if you're interstate and you're struggling to get your vehicle up to Queensland, we can help arrange transport to get it up here. Do the full build with Big Dog Builds, fly in, pick up the vehicle, and trust me, the effort will well be worth it. Enough of that one there. Let's go for a full walk around this white 2025 model, straight from the dealer into Big Dog Builds, Big Dog to the Canopy company. That's Concept Canopies have done their thing on the back end of this one here, and the customer's ready to grab this one in a couple days after we go through, finish those final touches, do the full quality check on the truck. We'll do some good test drives, and then this customer can go away on the first adventure, come back after 1,000 kilometers, get the full recheck done, and then he's ready to travel around Australia and make those memories. When it comes to R&D into the Chevy 2500 platform, the team have worked very, very hard in including the under-bonnet fuse locations and the power panel set up to be exactly how it probably should come out of GMSV. So we'll get to that one in a minute. If you want to see it now, click on the Trip in a Van video. That's in this walk around right here. But at the front end of this vehicle, we've got the Outback Kidders front bar. These bars are becoming very, very popular through the Big Dog Builds workshop, and this customer's chosen to run the 2 spotlight tabs on the hoop here. We can do a mixture of 2, we can do 3, we can even squeeze 4 different lights on the front here depending on what size LED light you want to run with. This one here is the Baja Design Sport Combo. So you got the combo lens, which is your flood lens in the bottom there, and then you got your 6 spot lenses on the top. And once these ones are set up the right way, they're going to give you good distance down the road, really light up the side of the highway as well, and you're going to see any of those skippies that you don't want to come through the vehicle itself. This is the first thing to do, and you can't beat a couple good driving lights on top of the hoop on the front bar. We can do roof rack LED lighting, which comes on the Big Dog Builds accessory rack, which is great for a clear night. But if you want the best value for money, going a good couple driving lights on the front bar is going to definitely give you the best outcome for the least amount of outlay. When it comes to the front of this vehicle as well, we've got the carbon off-road wireless winch in there, of course. This is the 15,000 pound winch. With the carbon off-road winch, it is quite hard to get into these bars if you need to plug in the winch controller. You do have a wireless remote control, and I've said it in a few videos and I'll say it again. Make sure that you pop that one open, look at what battery comes in that wireless remote controller, and definitely take a few spare ones of them, especially if you're hitting a full lap around Australia. But if you do need to plug into this one here, we've got the new plug-in mount underneath the bonnet as well. So if you did run out of battery in your wireless remote control, plug in the wired one and you're still going to be able to get out of that pickle. Simply turn your isolator on and you're ready to rumble with the winch setup. But the Outback Kidders front bar combo, very, very sturdy there. I recently saw a video of one of these, unfortunately in a pretty serious accident, and it handled it quite well. With the main chassis cradle under there as well, it gives good strength to the front end of the vehicle. And at the end of the day, a decent animal strike or an accident is going to result in an insurance claim. If you pop a headlight, for example, the grille, it's not going to be a cheap fix, so it still will be an insurance claim. But if you can still drive home, finish the trip, finish the travels and get home in one piece, that's where these bars still come into play really, really well. For a lightweight option, they're bloody strong. So much money out of music, dog, now the bank account is never running out. Educated on the business. When it comes to chrome deletes on the Chevy 2500, there's not much chrome on the front of them at all. We've gone and done a gloss black chrome delete on that front bow tie there. We've also done the Duramax badges, which are on the bonnet itself, and that then flows into the 2500, which is standard gloss black on the side. We've done the window cutouts on the Cat 6 indicators, and that's pretty much all the chrome that are on these 2025 models. So going to the gloss black, it's those little bits of differences that do make a difference. And when it comes to the suspension, wheel and tyre setup on this one here, we've got the 3-inch BDS suspension kit One of the most popular suspension kits that we're offering for the 2500 range altogether. With the 3-inch suspension kit, we normally set the front end up to about the 2.5 inch mark. That seems to be the sweet spot with the wheel alignment. We can set this kit down to 1.5 inch if you're not wanting to raise the rear much at all. And that one there is going to give you a really good ride and not gain too much height for those that are a little bit scared to lift it up that little bit higher. But with the 3-inch suspension kit, the Fox 2.5 remote reservoir shocks, you've got full adjustability in the shocks itself, both low speed and high speed. And if you're going to be hitting the beaches, the corrugations, the blacktop, being able to have adjustability in the shockies definitely makes the difference. A lot of customers go through, spend a fair bit of time on that one when they first get it, and you're going to know roughly where to set it. It's a good thing to write those little things down. If you do a little bit of R&D testing when you've got a bit of time up your sleeve, seeing the beach work, write down where you set your shocks. When you hit the corrugations, write that one down again. Throw it in your glove box or something inside the vehicle, and you're going to have a little cheat sheet for the next time, rather than playing the guessing game every single time you want to change those shockies. And the same thing comes to tyre pressures as well. With the Yokohama GO16 and the 35 12.5 18, you're going to be able to air down these tyres really, really well. And I think once you get used to your vehicle, used to the tyre pressures, and play around, do a little bit of R&D when you do hit the travels, you'll know where the vehicle's happy in the different conditions. So writing down those little things as well in a little cheat sheet would definitely make doing it each time really, really handy, especially if you're like me and you forget that type of detail but can remember useless details from years and years ago. So writing those ones down in the booklet definitely makes a difference. And it comes down to what tyre pressures are going to suit different wheels as well. So these ones are the Method 707 bead-grip wheels. And what that means is you can go down into single-digit tyre pressures and that tyre is not going to roll off the bead. It's amazing how grippy these bead-grip wheels are. So airing down the big Yokohama tyre is going to give you footprint, both width, but it's also going to extend the footprint of the tyre itself. So that rolling diameter or the rolling surface on the ground itself is going to be massive compared to how these are running around at the 55-60 PSI mark. With a good wheel and tyre combination as well, we always install the Apex tyre valves. And what that means is you can deflate those tyres down from 55 PSI down to about 15 PSI in a matter of 15-20 seconds or thereabouts. Simply unscrew that like any normal tyre valve. You got the little red lever. The first time you do these ones, they can be a little bit sticky. Bloody sound notice, but yeah, that one there, definitely it pumps it out of about 4 or 5 different holes instead of having that little valve, internal valve as the restrictor, like a normal tyre valve would. So we add them to pretty much every single wheel and tyre combination, unless the customer doesn't want to go off-road at all, then there's no point adding those bad boys on there as well. So suspension, wheels, tyres, that's the fitment there. These Method 18x9 POS 18 wheels are nice and safe. They ride on the edge of the factory guard, but we've also gone and installed the Bushwhacker color-coded flares. The main reason why I've done that on this build as well is because this build's all about the practicality and having the best setup to keep the vehicle in good nick, and that's where these kickback mud flaps come into play as well. These ones here are built for the color-coded flare option, and because they kick back a little bit as well, means that it doesn't really matter what wheel and tyre combination gets installed in the vehicle. The lower you are, the bigger the tyre, the more trimming you need to do. And it was really, really quite hard adding a mud flap to the front end of the Chevy 2500. So now with these kickback mud flaps, it's going to give you a really good looking mud flap itself. We don't like throwing big brands on there, so we've just gone for the blank black mud flaps. I think the less is more approach works really, really well here. Everyone knows that it's a big dog build at the end of the day. So seeing the mud flaps, seeing this wheel and tyre combination built by the best here in Queensland. And don't forget, if you're Interstate, we can get your vehicle up, and that's going to get your vehicle sorted, fly in, pick it up and head back Interstate and show off the new toy. When it comes to the fuse panel underneath the bonnet, we'll get into that in a second, but this customer's chosen those small details like little weather shields. We can add them to every single build. And then we've also got the Amp Research XL side steps. With these XL side steps, they do drop down further than how the factory ones would sit on a standard height truck. And that makes getting in and out of the vehicle super simple compared to stepping up on the round step that comes factory on these vehicles. And with the XL step, you also get that extra sill on the side of the vehicle there as well. So if there is any stones or sand or whatnot flicking back past the mud flaps, you're going to have that little extra bit of protection before a stone will flick up and hit the door itself. So getting in and out of them, really, really nice and simple. The benefit as well with the XL side steps is if you're wanting to reach the roof, for example, and you're washing the vehicle, you can keep your foot on the step there. It's going to try to go up and then stop. And then you can get up and down on those ones there, wash the roof, for example. And as soon as you open that door, close the door, that's going to reset the module itself and it's going to flick up out of the way. The XL side steps also tuck up really nice and neatly inside the extra sill itself as well. And the little LED lights make accessing the vehicle at night time really, really simple. You can see underneath the vehicle as well. If you've parked on a bit of mud, for example, you're going to see not where to step. That's going to make getting in and out really, really nice and simple. Inside the vehicle, this is a brand new one straight from the dealer. It hasn't even had the dealer delivery done yet. We've installed the Switch Pro SP9100 switching unit. Because of the driving lights on the front of the vehicle, the Switch Pro is the best module to add for your 12-volt outlets. So you've got the LED lights both in the bar as well as on top of the bar. And if this customer wants to add backup lights at the rear of the canopy, add a roof rack down the track, for example, having the Switch Pro in that location, as well as the bits underneath the bonnet, makes future work a whole lot easier.
Said I'm taking big shots, just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot.
Caught me out, I was cheating a little bit. I was trying to get a little bit of a grasp before giving a full walk around on the concept canopy setup. Before I open this one here, I quite like the painted door and the lines against the vehicle to the canopy itself. I thought it looks quite neat. And the thing with the concept canopies, it's a premium lightweight canopy and it's fully customizable. So this is the first time I've gone inside this canopy itself. We'll start with the little toolboxes up the front. Before I get to that one there, you've got a little wash down station. So that's your little click-in hose for your water outlet. We've got a couple simple toolboxes there. These ones here aren't on central locking by the looks of that. So when you're not really needing to get in there that often, having the central locking in here has obviously saved a few dollars as well. And it's the same with all 4 toolboxes around the truck. So you could lock up some recovery gear and whatnot. If you do forget to lock up the canopy or the vehicle as you walk away, these ones here will still stay locked. You're not going to get any tools or any recovery equipment pinched if the vehicle does stay unlocked. Some dodgy places around Australia, so those little things there do make a difference, and it's how you think about using it. But with the concept canopies, massive canopy, so this is a chassis mounted canopy. What that means is the vehicle itself with the decent GVM is still going to have plenty of payload because these canopies are very, very lightweight but still quite solid. So the amount of room in this one here, it's enormous. I don't know what sort of literage is inside there, but if you're keen on a build like this one, definitely get in touch with the crew at Concept Canopies. But the customer's obviously designed this one to suit his specific needs. You've got a massive drawer set up here, big slide there. Batteries, I believe, are in the middle of this one here. There's another little compartment, and then you got another simple little storage bin up the front. You got Anderson plug outlet, phone chargers. Also got the controls for your LED lights, so you can go between amber, warm white and white. You've also got your 240 GPOs there, and then massive amount of storage at the back here. So obviously you got little tie down rails, so move those ones along. If you're strapping something to the floor, this is going to be a good setup for it. And then it's got a little floating shelf as well off the roof. Again, everything looks to be nice and lightweight, but also serves a purpose. You wouldn't be going and throwing anything too big and silly and heavy up on near the roof height anyway. So this little simple basket, things like camp chairs and bits and pieces up there is what I assume that little area would be handy for. But that's the rear, that's the setup on the driver's side on this one here. We'll swing around to the back, see what's going on there, because this customer has chosen to run with 6 wheels and tyres, not just the 5. With a 35-inch spare wheel, it can still pop up underneath. And then you've got plenty of room on the back of the canopy to house the 6th one. And we'll get around the back end here. We'll show you the camera setups, the rear LED lights, the cover panel, and what else is going up the rear end. Before I get into the rear there, I did just open up this side. Had a quick little sneaky session and turned on those rear work lights because obviously they pack a punch. You've got adjustability in those lights if you're wanting to spin them around, tilt them up and down. But the back of this one here, it's built for purpose. It's lightweight, it's simple, and it's a pretty damn decent sized canopy. So just running the spare wheel off the back, not adding additional tyre carriers or jerry cans is definitely going to limit how heavy the rear end of the setup is. And with the tow bar on the bottom there, adding something like a Gen Y hitch means that this big extended tray space at the rear end isn't going to be too far back, swing around and smack into a caravan, for example. For the team of concept, you've got the twin cameras up the top there. So that's for your rear view mirror inside the cab, gets relocated to the back end of the canopy. It's also got the other two cameras at the rear here, and that's going to be from your tailgate on the back of the Chevy, one pointing down at the tow bar and the other one pointing backwards nicely as well. So you've got full usability of the factory camera system in this one. It's also installed the tow bar wiring combination up flush mounted into the panel itself. So you've got a grey Anderson plug with the 50 amp output. You've also got the red Anderson plug direct to the front battery. That one there can be used for some trailers needing ESC brake controller. You've also got the red Anderson plug direct to the front battery, meaning that you could plug in a regulated solar blanket. You could keep those under-bonnet batteries nice and trickle charged and topped up, ready so they won't go flat. The factory batteries in these Chevy 2500s, they're not the best, to be honest, and they run out of charge quite quickly. So every time you open and close the vehicle, those modules are going to wake up. The amount of computers on these Chevys is quite crazy, and adding all that extra little bit of power, you got your electric side steps folding down, for example, keeping those batteries in good nick with something like the little solar plug-in here, making sure you've got a regulator on that solar blanket. They're going to stay in good condition. So at the back end here, you've also got your factory 12-pin plug-in. You've also got your trailer cameras up on there as well. So if you do have the GM SV camera kit for a caravan, you can plug straight into those cameras and get the full usability that these Chevy 2500s have over pretty much any HD truck in the market. The GMSV camera kit plugged into the factory setup here trumps anything from Ram, anything from Ford, and this is definitely one of the best camera systems. If you've got a caravan already, you do need to buy the GMSV camera kit and fit that one to your caravan itself. People ask whether they're building a new caravan, if they should just do the GMSV camera kit. I still think it's a good, smart option to add something like the Safety Dave camera setup as well as the GMSV, because if you're selling your van down the track and someone doesn't have a Chevy, they're still going to plug into those other cameras because the Chevy camera system is unique to themselves and themselves only. So you can't plug a GMSV camera setup onto a normal vehicle. So you can't plug in the GMSV camera setup onto a van and then run it from a Land Cruiser, for example. And you can't plug the GMSV vehicle side into cameras that are already on a trailer unless they are those GMSV ones. So that's the back end of this one here. Nice and simple setup. The wash down on the back there. You've also got the Trundle drawer as well from the team at Concept. That one's going to be handy for more tools, for example. This one's quite bloody large, to be honest. So good usable rear trundle drawer there as well. And those ones are on key locks as well. So all the toolboxes on this setup are just key locked, and then the doors themselves on the canopy are going to share that central locking. So you've got best of both worlds. Lock these ones up with a key. Those ones there. Simple ARB brushless hose compressor in there, as well as a pull-out hose, retractable hose to do the tyres. And the front one here, just another simple storage bin. Open up this side of the canopy. Amber lights. This side has got the two LED lights, one for the fridge. You've got this one here, and I can also see a few little rock lights up under there as well. There we go. So that's lighting up inside the canopy with the extra cargo lights. Turn off the rear. Fridge we can turn on, 1 and 2. Don't know what those ones are. I'm sure the team will figure it out. This one here is the fold-out kitchen. I was a bit intrigued last vehicle build that had this little thing on the guard itself. I now know exactly what it is. Massive amount of storage. Before the kitchen does fold down, you've got the extra storage bin in here as well. So that can open up, be a little pantry setup. As you can see here, that's the underside of an induction cooker setup, as well as the two little stands. So once that one is folded all the way down, you can pop out those stands, retract them down and get it nice and sturdy on whatever level ground you're on. Pop that one down there, undo that top latch, and this kitchen folds down. The little thing with this kitchen here is this little bracket pops into that little thing on the guard, and that's going to be a nice solid setup. Induction cooker then folds out. So you got your twin burner, 240 plug underneath there. Simply plug that one into a 240 outlet. You're going to have twin induction cookers. The LED light that's on the door itself is going to give you a good LED light over that little prep bench, and you can put all your bits and pieces inside the little pantry there as well. So pretty impressed with this kitchen setup. The second one that I've seen, I think the team have nailed this design. It's definitely nice and smart, but also quite simple as well. There's no big complex fold down options. It is extra strong because of the little bit that pops onto the wheel arch there as well. So I'll fold that one back away. That locks into place. Simply lift this one up here. If you've got color-coded flares, for example, just be mindful of that one coming down and scratching, so don't let the kids do it. Fold that one up, lock that one into place. That one's ready to rumble, and then simply pop it back in. So nice kitchen setup. Always remember to lock that one in place as well, just in case the runners do vibrate, come loose, and that one wants to swing out, hit the inside of the door. And then obviously the brains of this setup here, there's the Victron screen there, the little switch panel, more outlets, more phone charger ports, your LED lighting control, your 240 GPOs, and then it's got the Dometic upright fridge. That one swings that way. Another little storage bin over here as well. So that one's quite deep, quite decent size. And then the rear end of the canopy, another little tie down rail there as well. Spin those ones around, you've got something quite long at the back there, you can still tie stuff down. And with the uni strut inside here, lightweight and strong. Sort of liking them the more I see them, to be honest. So pretty cool setup. Well done at the team there. And being a chassis mount, like I said, it is definitely one of the lightest canopies on the market, and fully customizable. So if you're wanting a custom internal layout, you've got the kegerator like we've seen in a previous video. If you've got drawer fridges, upright fridges, tinny slides on the back with the motor mounts, you name it, this team here can definitely dial it in. And up on top, I haven't popped up there completely, but I believe looking at the Anderson plugs at the top, it might have a couple solar panels up on top that's going to charge the batteries inside the canopy itself. And this one here hasn't got the Big Dog Builds accessory rack, but like I said, with the Switch Pro setup on board, you're able to add those things down the track nice and easily. What this vehicle does also have is the long range fuel tank. So that's from the 130 litre standard tank up to the 210 litre Titan long range fuel tank. That's going to allow the customer to still have his spare wheel in the factory location. There's 6 spare wheel up on the back of the canopy itself, and the rear end set up here, we've got the Boss triple bellow airbags. We've also gone and installed the Air IQ, I hope. Let's see if I can connect to it. Usually I connect to something else around the workshop when I plug this app on, because we do have a fair few builds around the workshop with them installed. I'll see if this one connects. I'm not confident. The Wi-Fi signal's not very strong, which means I might not be as close as I think. I definitely failed. That's a vehicle up the front of the shed. So that one there, your Air IQ, just means that you don't have to inflate, deflate those air valves from the Schrader valves at the back of the vehicle itself. We can put the compressor on the chassis rail of the vehicle itself. We can inflate, deflate those airbags from an app on your phone. You've also got a remote control that can connect to it. And that one there inside the cab is a nice, easy, neat setup, ready to inflate, deflate on the fly. Really, really handy if you're wanting to unhitch, raise those bags up a little bit. All these fancy things on the front of caravans now. Drop that front foot down, have your airbags raised up a little bit. You'll still get a good couple inches of drop on those Air IQ down from, say, 50 PSI down to 10 PSI. Drive away, and it's going to take a little bit of time off unhitching the van. Hitching it up again is going to be nice and simple as well. Talking about cool electrical things, we need to get back around there, pop the bonnet, and show you what's going on underneath this one, because it's number 2 through the workshop, and it definitely looks the piece. I can already see a little bit of underglow or LED lights coming out from underneath. Pop that bonnet up, and as you can see, this is the new Big Dog Builds power panel. It's over on the driver's side of the vehicle itself. That's all the aftermarket accessories on this vehicle running off this one nice, neat under-bonnet setup. The beauty with this setup here is we've got a breaker switch on the other side. If you turn off that breaker, all of this becomes inactive and the vehicle pretty much goes back to standard, other than the winch control, which runs off the batteries over on that side. This one here has got all of your MIDI fuses for things like, there's an input there, you've got your Anderson grey at the back, you've got your Air IQ for that Air IQ, so it definitely has one. You've got your side steps under there as well. You've got your 2 different compressors. You've also got another little input, and this vehicle's got a few spare outlets. If the customer wanted to come back for a stage 2, add a few extra goodies, this setup here is installed, ready to go and make stage 2 or stage 3 or anything down the track super easy and a whole lot simpler. And then we've got this little fuse board at the back here. That's got your LP9s, so they're your 2 spotlights on the front running off it. You got your light bar in the bar itself. We actually fuse them individually. And then you got your Air IQ as well. That's your second module for your Air IQ, your main power feed, and then your other little fuse. Little bus bar, little power stud up the back there to run things. You've also got your Switch Pro MIDI fuse, and the Switch Pro unit is tucked away nice and neatly in the side here as well. And with this setup here, if the lights do turn off, it is quite dark out on the road. This little thing here turns off those little LED lights. So those little bits of differences there. When you are on the road, you're stressing, something's popped and you're trying to look for it. It's usually raining for some example as well. So it's usually raining. We've added the little LED lights there because why not? That's pretty much it. So you've got everything in one nice neat location, and then on top of the battery itself, we've gone and installed the new Mega Fuse holder, and that one there replaces a factory item, gets some good replaceable fuses in location there as well. So if you do happen to need to replace one fuse out of those main factory ones, we can do it with individual fuses rather than having to buy the whole board from GM in the US. Because as quick as sourcing parts around Australia from the US is these days, having something like that one there, being able to carry individual fuses to swap out on the side of the road, for whatever reason, I'd rather be in safe hands rather than waiting around for too long on parts to come out of the US. So that's the Big Dog Builds under-bonnet power setup, the new fuse board on that side there, the power setup on this side here. You've got plenty of options to add more things to this one down the track as well. If you're wanting to get one of these things installed, we've got them ready now, available for your build. And I'm keen to see your 2500 Chevy come into the workshop, get the best in the business installed there, get the lights on the front bar, get the best suspension. If you're wanting a canopy or you're still running a tub at the back there, obviously we've got multiple partners that we work with. We can do some pretty cool setups throughout the whole vehicle itself. And guys, if you like this build here, check this one out. A big red Chevy, that's this one here. If you want to see Trip in a Van's new build, this walk around here is one to watch. And my favorite, this season, right here.